much, avoided crowds, and always sat in the last row of class. That day, he saw her. She stood near the window, reading a poetry book. Her name was Alina, a girl full of life, with laughter in her eyes and kindness in her smile. She noticed Zayan looking at her and smiled softly. Zayan looked away, pretending to read. From that day on, he always went to the library at the same time, hoping to see her again. She was always there, and slowly, a silent friendship grew. Just smiles at first, then small greetings. One day, Alina said, "You're always reading. You must be really smart." Zayan blushed and said, "Not really. I just like stories." She nodded. "I love stories too, especially the sad ones." That was the first real conversation between them. And for Zayan, it was the beginning of something he didn't fully understand, but it felt like magic. Chapter 2. The Growing Bond. Weeks passed. They began meeting more often, sometimes in the library, sometimes in the college garden. They talked about books, life, dreams. Zayan, who once avoided people, found himself waiting for her every day. One day, Alina asked, "What's your biggest dream?" Zayan paused. "To be a writer, but I don't think I'm good enough." She looked at him seriously. "You are, and I want to read your first book one day." Those words stayed with him. From that day on, he started writing again. Short stories, letters, poems, all inspired by her. But he never told her how he felt. Zayan knew she deserved someone better. Someone more confident, more outgoing. He thought, "I will just love her quietly, from a distance." Chapter 3. The Goodbye. In the final year of college, things changed. Alina started spending less time with Zayan. She was often busy, and sometimes she didn't reply to his texts for days. Zayan tried to stay strong, but every missed message felt like a punch in the heart. One evening, she called him to the college garden. "I wanted to tell you something," she said. "I'm moving abroad for my master's. I got a scholarship." Zayan's heart dropped. "When?" "Next month." He nodded. "That's great. You deserve it." She smiled, but there was sadness in her eyes. "Thank you for being my friend. You always listened." That meant a lot. He wanted to say, "You mean everything to me." But he stayed silent. That night, he wrote her a long letter confessing his love, but he never gave it to her. Alina left, and Zayan was alone again, with his stories and his memories. Chapter 4. Life Goes On. Years passed. Zayan became a writer. He published his first novel, then another. His stories were always about silent love, lost chances, and waiting hearts. People loved them, but he was still alone. Every time he saw a girl with long black hair in a bookstore, his heart skipped a beat. But it was never her. He sometimes checked her social media. She had built a good life abroad. A good job, happy photos, but she had never married. And neither had he. One day, he got an email. Subject: "Do you remember me?" It was from Alina. Chapter 5. The Reunion. They met again, 10 years after she left. She looked the same, but older, wiser. He had become more confident, but his eyes still held the same quiet sadness. They sat in the same garden where they used to meet. "I read your books," she said. "You wrote about me, didn't you?" He didn't answer. He just looked down. "I knew," she continued. "I always knew. I just didn't know how to say it back then." Zayan looked at her. "Do you know how many letters I wrote to you but never sent?" She smiled. "I would have loved to read them." He pulled out an old notebook from his bag. "They're all here." She flipped through the pages, tears in her eyes. "Why didn't you send them?" "Because I loved you enough to let you go." Chapter 6. A Love That Waited. Alina stayed in town for a month. They met every day. They talked about the past, the pain, the missed chances. Zayan found out she had been through heartbreaks too. She had tried to find love, but something always felt missing. Zayan finally asked, "Why did you come back?" She looked at him and said softly, "Because I realized what I was looking for was always here." They didn't rush. They walked slowly into a love that had always existed, but never spoken. A quiet love, a deep love, a love that waited. Epilogue. The letter on the table. 10 years later, they sat on their porch, drinking tea. Their son came running with a book in hand. "Papa, Mama, I found your old diary." It was the notebook with the letters. Zayan smiled. "That's how I told your mom I loved her." Alina laughed. "And that's how I knew it was forever." He opened to the last page of the diary. A new letter was written. Greater than, to the one who waited. You were the silence in my chaos. The peace in my storm. I loved you quietly, but now, I love you loudly, every single day.